Is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. More than a week ago, a fun afternoon at Harmon Lake took a sharp turn when a dog viciously attacked this woman. The victim says the dog mauled her as she had her back turned. You can see the dog managed to do some pretty severe damage to her leg. Reporter Daniela Hurtado spoke exclusively with the woman about the ordeal and what happens next.
A regular day out on the lake took a turn for one woman.
I stood still, didn't make eye contact with him because I know that sometimes it intimidates them. So I took a step to the right and immediately he just attacked my leg.
The German wire-haired pointer left her with several cuts.
I believe any dog obviously can be aggressive. It all determines on what instigates them to be aggressive. Maybe that dog thought I was a threat to his family. Maybe he was simply trying to protect them.
The dog was unleashed, and under park rules, all pets must be on a leash or properly controlled.
This is one of those deals where we have to look at different rules in the park. Of changing on some of the leash laws to make sure that the wording is correct, and for not only for the dog's protection but also for the individuals that are using the park.
Kirkmeyer says a change to the wording on the rule could be coming to the park. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Daniela Hurtado.
All right, let's send it over to Henry now for some good news.
With many of us falling to the 40s and 50s, but yeah, we've got some more heat underway, but just enjoy what we've got for right now.
I like that. Right now, we're good.
Yes.
Don't look too far ahead.
No, not too far ahead.
Right now, we're good.
Yes, we are.
All right, thanks, Henry.
You're welcome.
Well, a major step towards legalizing recreational marijuana in our state. We now know it's up to North Dakota voters. Supporters of legalizing recreational marijuana succeeded in getting the measure on the November ballot. Secretary of State Al Jaeger says proponents submitted more than enough valid petition signatures. This could signify a shift in attitude towards legalizing marijuana. The same attempt was made in 2016, but failed due to lack of signatures. Energy Secretary Rick Perry is the latest administration official to come to North Dakota. Today, Perry visited Falkirk Mine and Coal Creek power stations in Underwood before heading to the University of Maryland, Mary, for a roundtable with energy leaders. Andrew Horn shows us how the secretary wants North Dakota to help lead what Perry is calling an energy renaissance.
Senator, Energy Secretary Rick Perry wants America to flex its muscle as a worldwide energy leader, and he came to Bismarck for help.
North Dakota is going to play a very, very important role in the future of America's energy independence, our energy dominance, if you will.
Perry will be heading down to Mexico, making his pitch for a Mexico-America energy partnership. State leaders say that's a good development.
You grow the economy, you grow the pie. Instead of fighting over the pie that we have, you grow the pie. And that's what we're now able to do, exporting oil, exporting natural gas, exporting ethanol. That's our opportunity.
But at an energy roundtable Thursday, leaders called on Perry to do more.
Research is what has brought us in the Bakken to where we are today. It's what's going to be the solution for clean coal. So we need more discretionary funds.
Just in the lab, messing around with what's the latest, greatest, what's the next hurdle, what's the next cleanest energy process that we can have.
Perry added during the meeting he's looking for states that are friendly, not combative in energy policies. For West Dakota Fox, I'm Andrew Horn.
Speaking of politics, this Thursday, KFYR TV and West Dakota Fox will be hosting a debate between the two candidates gunning for the lone North Dakota seat in the House. Congressional candidates Mac Schneider and Kelly Armstrong will face off right here on West Dakota Fox News. Live coverage of the debate starts at 6:30. Marcy Ballinger and I will be moderating. Well, new details tonight on that fatal SUV crash that happened on Friday. Minot Air Force Base confirmed that the victim was a senior airman at the base. According to Air Force Public Affairs, Senior Airman Jacob Ellis served as a 5th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron member. Ellis died after the motorcycle he was riding collided with an SUV in a southeast Minot intersection around 8:30 Friday evening. A Minot house goes up in flames overnight. The fire department says it began in the 500 block of 12th Street Northeast. 2 people were in the house at the time, but fire crews say they were able to make it out safely. However, they say multiple animals died in that fire. Officials say the house is a total loss. The cause of that fire is under investigation. And several people are without a home tonight after a fire tears through a Dickinson apartment complex. The Red Cross says the fire was in the 600 block of 29th Street West. Dickinson Police, Dickinson Rural Fire, and Dickinson Fire Departments all responded. There were no injuries and no details on how that fire started. The Bismarck Police Department is requesting 3 radios through a yearly grant from the Department of Justice and other agencies. Police say the Justice Assistance Grants allows them to purchase equipment and supplies that they can't support in their general fund budget. Chief of Police Dave Drayovich says the older portable radios officers are using no longer are serviceable and can't be fixed.
There are quite a few more that we need to replace eventually. So this is just more of to help us get through the period until we know exactly what we're going to need in the future.
The grant is for more than $18,000. The funding hasn't been approved yet, and Drayovich says there will be a public hearing on it on Monday, August 20th. Well, some foul play happened at the Bismarck Municipal Ballpark after thieves stole $4,000 worth of equipment. But the thieves were quickly caught the next morning trying to pawn off their stolen goods. Officers say they arrested 45-year-old Muriel Longfeather, 24-year-old Lance LaRoche, and a juvenile for possession of stolen property. Police say there were no signs of forced entry into the park. A Bismarck pawn shop told police that someone was trying to sell a few Bismarck Larks bats the same morning. Well, museums exist to keep history alive, but there are some limits on just how live historical artifacts should be. The Sheridan County Sheriff's Office says back at the end of July, they were alerted to a possible live military explosive on display at the Sheridan County Museum.
Some guy was wandering through the museum around fair time and noticed it and said, hey, this is a live round, because anything that's inert is either painted blue or it's marked inert. So we went out there, me and Deputy John Anderson went out there, checked it out. John's in the military here in Montana in the Army, so he started making some phone calls, and we got in touch with the explosive ordnance disposal team out of Minot Air Force Base. He sent a bunch of pictures of the round to them, and they determined that, yeah, it's not an inert round.
The item in question was determined to be a pre-World War I illumination round. This past Friday, a 5-person explosive ordnance disposal team arrived in Plentywood. After doing x-rays on the device, they decided the round could be hazardous and the safest thing to do would be to detonate it. So that's what they did under the watchful eye of Sheridan County law enforcement. Paperwork shows the live explosive had been in the museum since 1979. Yikes. Well, bizarre saga out of the world-famous Mayo Clinic. Patient Alyssa Gilderhus says the clinic, quote, medically kidnapped her. Back in 2016, a blood vessel burst in Alyssa's brain, requiring emergency surgery. As she was healing, her parents tried to take her home, but the clinic refused to discharge her. Eventually, they hatched a plan to sneak her out.
Oh, like a relief. Like the biggest weight on your shoulders pulled off. It was phenomenal. The longer I'm away from Mayo Clinic, the better.
Right before Alyssa's parents got her out of the Mayo Clinic, court records show a social worker tried to take guardianship away from them. In a statement, the Mayo Clinic said, quote, we will not address these questionable allegations because we do not believe it is in the best interest of the patient and the family. Well, set your DVRs. The story of a Minot murder conspiracy is airing tonight on NBC. The show will feature the investigation into the murder of Angela Wilder and the 2 people serving life sentences for her death, her ex-husband Richie and his current wife Cynthia. It will be featured an interview with a confidential informant who helped investigators with the case.
I don't necessarily look for the spotlight. I'm not the type to want to be on TV or national TV. I like to live my life.
But so what are your reasons for wanting to?
I figured the story's going to get told regardless, and I'd rather it be told through my words.
Cynthia Wilder is planning to appeal her life sentence. The episode is airing now on our sister station, KFYR TV. A Utah man crashes a plane into his own house just hours after he's arrested for domestic violence. Police identifying the pilot as 47-year-old Dwayne Yude, who died at the scene of the crash outside his home in Payson overnight. Police say he was released on bail and went home to pick up some belongings before leaving again. That's when they believe he drove to the Spanish Fork Airport, picked up a plane and crashed it into the home he co-owns with his wife. Luckily, investigators say she and her son escaped unharmed. Crews in California are slowly starting to get containment on a series of massive wildfires. Fox News correspondent William Lajeunesse has more from Los Angeles.
It's really close, and I'm terrified.
The holy fire still spreading after burning through dozens of homes south and east of Los Angeles. But cooler weather over the weekend allowed firefighters to make significant progress, containing it while saving neighborhoods. The fire is now moving through more remote areas near Cleveland National Forest, allowing some anxious residents to return home. Thankful to fire crews for saving their property.
There's been no wind, so it just kind of was a slow burn. My heart was pounding and I was screaming for joy, you know, that they're here just doing that for us here.
Officials are also reporting progress containing the Mendocino Complex fire, the largest in state history, 100 miles north of San Francisco. But more than a dozen other wildfires continue to burn throughout the state as some 30,000 fatigued firefighters work 12-hour shifts. Fire officials now pleading with the public to use extreme caution with any activity that could spark another wildfire.
We are very limited on resources. We're thin. There's no hiding that. We have so many fires going on. So we're just like pleading with everybody right now that if you're outdoors or if you're in your vehicle and you're operating outdoors, to be heightened kind of sense of awareness, because we really cannot afford to have more large fires in California right now.
Even with the increased containment, officials don't expect to have the Mendocino fire completely under control till early September. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
A 12-year-old boy is rescued from a stream in Chester County, Pennsylvania. The rescue operation took about 45 minutes Monday afternoon. Crews got the boy safely to the shore by using ropes and an inflatable boat. Downpours and flash floods throughout Pennsylvania's Delaware Valley. Heavy flooding shut down parts of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and a number of fire departments responded to neighborhoods with boats to help residents get out of the high water. 27 people had to be rescued by helicopter after getting trapped in rising waters in Texas. This is in the Nueces River and Chalk Bluff Park. There were no major injuries reported, although medical attention was given to everyone saved. Henry, flooding all across the U.S., and we got some wet weather here too, but nothing like that. The Bismarck Fire Department is getting new protective gear next year. The new vests are meant to help in active shooter situations. Megan Hoffman shows us.
Just a couple of minutes could be the difference between life and death in an active shooter situation, and the Bismarck Fire Department is working to make sure it is prepared in case it does ever happen.
Best practices see law enforcement moving more towards isolating the problem, and the time it takes to take care of the victims is where assistance is needed.
That's why Base Flug's department requested just over $9,000 from the City Commission's 2019 budget to purchase 14 sets of ballistic protection gear.
And although we've never had one of these situations, if we ever have one, I don't want to look at the aftermath and say, gee whiz, I'm sure glad we saved $9,100 in our 2019 budget.
The vest will allow BFD's firefighters to move into what is considered a warm zone during an active situation instead of staying on the sidelines.
And that allows the responders to care for the victims that are there, rather than have law enforcement bring those victims back out to a cold zone or an absolutely safe zone.
Fire crews will be working with the police department on training once they receive the vests. For West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Megan Hoffman.
The request for funding of the gear was not approved when the budget was first presented to the commission. However, Guy asked that it be added in, and it was eventually authorized. Fastest man on the mountain. Swift mountain climber Danny Arnold has set a new speed record. This time, the record holder's historic climb took place in the French Alps at nearly 14,000 feet. Arnold reached the top of the Grand Juras in 2 hours and 4 minutes. This is his second record in the famous European mountain region. He also held a speed record climb in the Matterhorn. And a Brazilian surfer is riding into the history books and going viral in the process. The World Surf League confirmed Rodrigo Cocha has officially broken the Guinness World Record for biggest wave ever surfed. The achievement was announced at the Big Wave Awards in Santa Monica, California on Saturday night. Rocca rode the 80-foot monster back on November 8th at the Nazar Beach in Portugal, calling it the best day of his life. Working with you, every day is the best day of my life, Henry.
Yeah, same with you. Glad to be working with you, and glad to finally be able to give our viewers a report of some nice weather. It's a little bit warmer on Wednesday, with highs in the mid-80s, but 90s return by Thursday into Saturday.
Honestly, the 90s don't look that warm after what we had this weekend.
Yeah, they don't. I think 90s would actually feel great for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.